Hello students, my name is Terence P and I'll be doing WASSCE tutoring. My objective for today, my objectives for today are blood transfusion, and I'll be solving simple WASSCE genetic essay problems from a 2016 paper. So I'll move quickly to the next slide. This is a slide that consists of questions from the 2016 WASSCE paper 2. This is the essay paper of our WASSCE 2016. And this is question number 4, and question number 4 is on page 3. So question number 4 reads, explain the term agglutination as used in blood transfusion. And the next question reads, the table below represents blood transfusion between blood donors and recipients. Copy and complete the table using the keys plus to represent compatibility and minus to represent incompatibility. So firstly, I would like to talk about a blood transfusion. When we say blood transfusion, what do we mean? Blood transfusion, simply put, if you have a patient, A or a person A, and person A blood is taken and given to person B. That is, you have person A blood is given to person B. And this happens without complication. That is, after you have given an individual A blood or individual B without complication, then that is what we refer to as blood transfusion. I think the concept of blood transfusion is clear. Then I will talk about blood. Blood is a connective tissue. I will abbreviate connective tissue as CT. Blood is a connective tissue, and blood is found within our blood vessels. Blood is a connective tissue, like I said, and blood can be found within our blood vessels. What are the blood vessels? The blood vessels are our veins, our arteries, and our capillaries. Blood is important. Blood is important, firstly, in the transport of oxygen, and that is just what I'll make emphasis of. There are other functions of blood, but blood is firstly important in the transport of oxygen. All of the oxygen that our cells need are transported to them via our blood. Now I'll talk about what are the constituents of our blood. There are two portions to our blood. You have what we refer to as the formed element portion of the blood, and we have what we refer to as the plasma portion of our blood. The formed element of our blood are basically cells, while the plasma is basically fluid, mostly consisting of water and other dissolved substances. The plasma make up 55% of our blood, and the rest of the percentage can be attributed to our formed element. I'll quickly talk about what are those things that make up our formed element. I will abbreviate formed element. I will FE to represent our formed elements. Formed elements are made up of what we refer to as our red blood cells, RBCs, our white blood cells, WBCs, and our platelets. So these are what constitute our foam element, red blood cells, white blood cell, and the platelets. Basically, that does it for our blood. Now I'm going to talk about the type of blood. There are several types of blood grouping system, but the most common type of blood grouping system is the ABO blood grouping system. And this is the type of blood grouping system that I want to talk about in this video. In the ABO blood grouping system, the blood type are normally determined by the type of antigen on the surface of the red blood cell. There are two types of antigen in this particular blood typing. And the two types of antigen are antigen A and antigen B. Based on the type of antigen, these types of antigen, there are 4 types of blood. And these 4 types of blood are blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB, and blood group O. Blood type A has antigen A, and blood type B has antigen B. Blood type AB has both antigen A and antigen B, and blood type O doesn't have an antigen. In the plasma of our blood, we have for antigen A, the corresponding antibodies in the plasma will be anti-B. For blood type B, the corresponding antibody in the plasma is anti-E. For blood type AB, there is no antibody in the plasma. And for blood type O, we have both anti-B and anti-A in the plasma. Antibody, anti-A, and anti-B. There is something that I would like to mention. I think I skipped it. The red blood cells have on their plasma membrane what we refer to as antigens. And these antigens are proteins. Within the plasma of our blood, we have what we refer to as antibodies. And the antibodies normally react with the antigen to cause what we refer to as an immune response. Like I said, I'll repeat, the antigens are on the plasma membrane of the red blood cells, while the antibodies are in the plasma of the blood. Going back to our question 4A, Roman number 1 reads, explain the term agglutination as used in blood transfusion. As we can look at the term agglutination, agglutination has a word in a GLU. If you put E behind it, you have glue. Agglutination simply means blood cells coming together, or the aggregation of blood cells. And this was the answer that a lot of the students gave when they were defining agglutination. They define agglutination as the clumping of red blood cells. This is a great answer, but this is not an answer you want to give on your test. That is when you are writing your WASSCE exams. Clumping of the red blood cell will show the person who is marking the answer script that you have an idea of what you are saying, but then your idea is basically incomplete. The first answer here to agglutination was taken from a book, and the second answer that is in red is taken from the WASSCE expected answer, and this WASSCE expected answer was gotten from an e-learning WASSCE platform. Agglutination can be defined as a clumping of red blood cells due to reaction between antigens on the red blood cell plasma membrane and antibodies in the plasma. This is a very good answer. Now let's look at WASSCE expected answer. What will WASSCE want from you? WASSCE expected answer: the clumping together of antigens of the red blood cells or RBC with corresponding antibodies in the plasma of incompatible blood groups or wrong blood groups. This is what WASSCE will expect from you. So I will expect you as a student now to copy this answer and try to know it. You can also work along with the first answer. It is good, but this is how WASSCE is expecting you to answer. So we have gotten the definition of agglutination. So once you have written this in your answer booklet, you are going to get 3 marks. The next question has to do with compactability and incompatibility. So like we said, like I mentioned, we have 4 types of blood, and while discussing the 4 types of blood, a term will come in called compactability and incompatibility. Compactability meaning that somebody with a particular blood type, maybe blood type X, blood type asterisk, is able to give blood to somebody who has blood type X, and there will be no complication after the blood transfusion. However, if there is a complication that will lead to what we refer to as agglutination, then we say that particular transfusion or the 2 blood types aren't compatible, or the transfusion won't yield a compatible result. I will do the annotations on the screen and focus on the compactability test. This is our compactability test. So here we have the donor, and here we have the recipient. I will then tell you who is a donor and who is a recipient. A person who is giving blood to another person, or a person whose blood is being given to another person, is a donor. A person who receives the donor blood is termed as a recipient. I would like for us to look at this cell and this cell. These are 2 answers provided to us by our exam. This answer is plus telling us that a person with blood type O can give blood to somebody who has blood type A. And why is this possible? This is possible because, like I mentioned, a person who has blood type O has no antigen on the red blood cells. And a person who has blood type A has antigen A on the red blood cell. Therefore, once you give a O blood type to a person who has A blood type, there will be no agglutination on grounds that there will be no antigen in a particular blood that the antibodies in the plasma of a person who has blood type A will react to and cause agglutination. So this particular transfusion is termed as a compatible transfusion, represented by the plus in a cell. On the other hand, a person who has blood type AB cannot give blood to a person who has blood type O. If this happens, there will be agglutination. The question here is why? A person who has blood type AB has both antigen A and antigen B on the plasma membrane of their red blood cells. And a person who has blood type O has anti-A and anti-B in the plasma of their blood. Once a doctor or a physician gives an AB blood to a person who has O blood type, the antigens will be acted on by the antibodies, causing agglutination. And in most cases, this can lead to death. Having said this, we can be able to answer all of the questions here relating to compatibility and incompatibility. I would undo the annotations on the screen. Now, a person who has blood type A can give blood to a person who has blood type A. So this is going to be a plus on grounds that there is the same antigen, there is the same antibody. There will be no agglutination. This is successful. So now A to B in this particular cell. A person who has blood type A cannot give blood to a person who has blood type B on grounds that a person with blood type B has in their plasma anti-A antibody that will react with the antigen A on the A blood type to cause agglutination. So this will be incompatible. A person who has blood type A can give blood to a person who has blood type AB on grounds that AB has antigen A. A person who has A cannot give blood to a person who has O on grounds that in the plasma of the O blood there is both anti-A and anti-B. Now I'll move to this rule, to this rule. A person who has blood type B similarly cannot give blood to a person who has blood type A, like I have explained. A person who has blood type B can give blood to a person who has blood type B. Sorry, this should be negative. A person who has blood type B can give blood to a person who has blood type B. So this will be positive. A person who has blood type B can give blood to a person who has blood type AB because of the presence of the B antigen, and there is no antibodies in the plasma. There are no antibodies in the plasma. So this will be plus also. A person who has blood type B cannot give blood to a person who has blood type O. So this will be negative. A person who has blood type AB cannot give blood to a person who has blood type A because of the anti-B antigen in the plasma of a person who has blood type A. So this will be negative. Similarly, because of the anti-A antigen in the plasma of somebody, the antibody, anti-A in the plasma of somebody who has blood type B. So this transfusion is also not possible. AB can give blood to somebody who has AB. This has already been answered. O can give blood to somebody who has blood type A. Similarly, O can give blood to somebody who has blood type B. Like we said, O has anti-A and anti-B antibodies but have no antigen, so this is possible. O can similarly give blood to somebody who has blood type AB. And lastly, O can give blood to somebody who has blood type O. I'm going to make a few points before I conclude this tutorial. So I want to make a point in this particular row. And then I want to make a point on this particular column. Alright. So I want to make 2 points. A point on the O row and a point on the AB column. If you notice that both of them, they are positives. They are positive throughout. Beginning with the O row, you will notice that person with blood type O can give blood to a person who has blood type A, blood type B, blood type AB, and blood type O. There is a term associated with a particular phenomenon. That term is universal donor. So the O blood type is referred to as the universal donor. Similarly, person who has blood type AB can receive blood from somebody who has blood type A, blood type B, blood type AB, and blood type O. Another phenomenon is associated with this. Another term is associated with this phenomenon, and that term is universal recipient. Meaning, somebody who has blood type AB can receive blood from somebody who has blood type A, blood type B, blood type AB, and blood type O. Lastly, I will make another point. I'll make another point here. Somebody who has blood type AB cannot receive blood from any other blood group except from somebody who has blood type AB. And here also, somebody who has blood type O cannot receive blood from somebody who has blood type A, blood type B, and blood type AB. They can only receive blood from somebody who has blood type O. To recap what I said, someone who has blood type O can only receive blood from somebody who has blood type O. And somebody who has blood type AB can only give blood to somebody who has blood type AB. So you can pause the video and get a definition of these terms. Also, you can pause the video and get the definition of these ones also. And these are my references. You can make use of this particular online platform is very helpful. Thank you very much for watching.